Well, good morning and welcome to the Underhood Show. My name is Josh Profit. I'm the service director here at Mel Hamilton Ford, and alongside me this morning is Scotty Gurman. Good morning, Scotty.
Good morning, everybody.
Scotty's one of our many service consultants that we have.
Many.
We
have quite a few
service consultants on the drive. I was given a tour to Hutchinson Community College, the automotive program, come through, and you get in this day in, day out kind of mentality, and you sometimes don't realize, I guess how big we are.
Yeah,
for sure. And I would say that for us as employees here, and all the different resources that we have and that are available to us, and then I think, man, if you were in a smaller place and didn't have all the resources like this, could really be a struggle.
It really could.
For sure.
It's actually kind of funny. I mean, obviously we deal with warranty companies and stuff like that on a daily basis, but it's always kind of funny because they always have like a log of all of our emails. And whenever we call up, they go, "Oh my God, is so-and-so still here?" Yes, they're still here.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh my God, how many people do you have working there?" Yeah, it's
well, and then not only, the number of people, but then also I would say the seniority that we have around this place.
For sure.
Just the other day, one of the advisors, 15 years.
Well, you know what I'm coming up on?
12.
Yep.
So the in this industry, that's just kind of unheard of,
rare,
for sure. And so, but I think I want to continue.
Sure.
This wasn't even on the list.
No, it wasn't.
But I think I want to kind of continue down this path.
Sure.
A little bit. But first, let's kick off the show.
Sure.
So,
let's do it.
It is a call-in show, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here with us and talk about anything automotive. Anything you want to talk about, new products, your vehicle's not acting right, doing something odd, funny, weird, check engine light, low tire light, or maintenance. You want to talk about to maintenance, anything like that, give us a call, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here live with us, and we'll try to help you down the path, and sometimes you might even get a free diagnosis out of something like that, or you just have a comment about something, the topic that we're discussing, and you want to put your input into it. That'd be great as well. Again, 316-462-3673. The number's up there on the screen as well. But for each and every caller that calls in, we're going to send you out a package. So it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hamilton Ford. We're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle, making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also get yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. I got an all brand new menu over there. Released that here this last week, and so I've had a couple of things off there and not been disappointed yet. But all brand new menu over at Mel's Diner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So we kind of stumbled into this.
Yeah, we kind of did.
Just a little bit right out of the gate, just talking about
my fault.
Familiar faces. With you and what you do in dealing with customers daily basis, right? All the time. I mean, how important is it to have that personal connection or relationship, both from your perspective, but then also from the customer's perspective?
It's ridiculously important. I think everybody knows, especially customers that, I will say this: customers generally are loyal to those who take good care of them. That's kind of the MO for everybody, and so it's very easy for me to communicate with customers who I've been dealing with for 12 years.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a level of trust and bond that you build up over the years. And it's always nice that you don't have to call the dealership to get a hold of me anymore. They text me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's easier for me because it's easier to go back and forth and figure out and schedule and stuff like that. But the most important thing is if they bring a vehicle in and there's something that we find and I tell them, they know that I'm not lying to them. They know I'm telling them, hey, this is something important. And there's that level of trust that we have built as a company that I think is probably the most valuable thing that we've done here. So
would agree with that. If you go in somewhere and every time you go to that establishment for service or whatever, like there's a whole new crew in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty that comes along with that. I would think.
Yeah.
The expectations or the level of service every time would be different,
right?
And so when you're dealing with the same people time and time again, you begin to develop that bond or relationship for sure. But one of the things that I can think of is just from a level of communication. I mean, I have several customers that all want to communicate in different ways, right?
Sure.
Like, some people, they prefer to text. Some people, emails kind of the form of communication. Some people want to be, have a conversation on the phone. Some people are strictly in person.
Yeah. Some people want to talk face to face. They'll show up.
And being able to, I guess, learn each other's character traits or whatever that best form of communication is, communication in this business in general is so important.
The number one most important.
I mean, it's crazy, but it's not just on the business side, it's also on the customer side.
Yeah.
How many times have you had a vehicle brought in and the complaint is kind of vague or not very descriptive?
Yeah.
And so you're trying to get additional information so you can, and really all you're trying to do is help the customer, right? We're trying to figure out what's wrong with it. But the level of complexity in these vehicles and the stuff that they just keep adding on and more and more features, sometimes the littlest detail will help us on the backside of diagnosing something or figure out what's going on with it. And so you almost have to do like an interrogation or investigation,
it's so funny you're bringing this up. The very first time in 12 years I've ever had this, but I had a young lady bring in a vehicle and she couldn't explain. She just goes, my vehicle's not running right. And I go, okay, well, what's it doing? And I'm asking the probing questions to try to get. And finally, we just got to a point where it's like, it's legitimately the only thing she could say. It just doesn't feel right. And so I go, okay, well, guess what? Let's go and get into the car. So we literally went on a test drive and I'm like, oh, you got a bearing going bad on this right front side. That's just roaring like crazy.
Well, and then, we could even talk about it on that side of it too, in the sense that how many times were you given a generalized noise description like, hey, my car's doing this, and they make the weird face.
Oh, the weird face and the weird noises are the best.
Stuff like that.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
And you just, as a service advisor, we joke all the time. It's like, make that noise one more time just to make me laugh.
But yeah, like saying something or talking about something, using words to describe it versus actually hearing it, seeing it, feeling it yourself, like there's a whole added value to be able to produce that or make that happen. So vehicles are complex, right?
Yeah.
And they're not they can't just sit there and tell you, hey, this is wrong with me, or that's wrong with me, or like I can think of like a toddler going to the doctor that's not feeling good, in the sense that they don't know what's going on. They don't know what the deal is, or what to say, how they're feeling, or what's broke, or anything like that. And so I can only imagine that field being very challenging as well. But yeah, they don't come in with what's wrong with them wrote on the windshield. And so just being able to take the time with the customer and go through and get a clear clear idea of what it is that they're struggling with or that we're needing to fix is highly important,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's extremely important, especially I think it was what was it 2020 whenever they started putting modems in vehicles and stuff like that help us out a lot.
Sure.
Through Ford, I want to say it was 2020, but they started putting modems in vehicles that actually would basically have recorders on them, or if you have a check engine light that's really intermittent or something like that, it would store that on the vehicles. So hats off to Ford for that, because that helps us out immensely, especially if we're trying to tackle an intermittent issue. But yeah, before that, it's especially if you have an intermittent issue, we really want to try to duplicate that, because in the automotive world, we call it playing part bingo. We don't want to just throw parts at stuff, because that becomes ridiculously expensive to a customer. And at that point, we're guessing, you know what I mean? And we
Yeah.
don't want to do that. We want to take care of you and make sure we're fixing what you're coming in here for. So, but yeah, so a good description goes a very, very long way for me as an advisor, and especially for a technician who's trying to figure out what's going on and trying to help you out. So yeah.
But the essentially trying to help efficiency, right? We're
Right.
trying to get your car back to you faster.
That helps us out
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
You know
yep,
what I mean? When we're
yep.
trying to get a vehicle into the shop and out of the shop, like we don't, especially here, we really don't like pulling a vehicle in, diagnosing it, and then putting it back out, and then just playing that game all the time, because it actually slows down efficiency way, way poorly. So if we can pull your vehicle in, have the part that you need, fix it, and then get it back to you, that is the most efficient way. And then that's when our volume goes up. That's when customers get their vehicle back faster. It's a great way of doing business in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Understand that completely. So we've got a caller coming through. We'll get them patched through. But again, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here with us. And let's talk anything automotive. We've got a list of things, of subjects or topics that we were going to kind of go over, but much like every other show, you can steer us into the ditch.
Absolutely.
We will gladly take it for sure.
Right.
This is your show, and whatever it is that you want to talk about automotive, we're up for the topic. So
we're here for you.
Yep. 316-462-3673. We'll get Jeff patched through here and see what's on Jeff's mind. So the I freaking lost my train of thought.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought. So I think next on our list is tires. We wanted to talk about tires.
Yeah, we got tires.
We do have tires.
We have bunches of them.
A lot. There's a lot of tires.
You ever tried to play baseball in a tire warehouse? We could probably do that here.
We'd have to clear out some tires.
Well,
yeah. could definitely make that happen as well. So.
Yeah. But we got Jeff coming in?
Well, I think so. Hopefully so.
That's okay. He's scared.
No, I don't think so. I'm guessing the receptionist is maybe
that's all right.
Lagging by just a little bit on getting him patched through. So, but anyways, yeah, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here, and it will answer what your automotive questions is. So you have 12 years coming up.
12. It is actually in this month.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's actually in a couple of days, if I remember correctly. I want to say it was like June 10th or June 11th, something like that.
Trying to remember when that was.
Yeah.
What so before this you were at another
aftermarket.
An aftermarket.
Yeah.
How many years were you there?
Oh, something along the lines of like 4 years, something like that. I went to I went from a lube shop to a full service aftermarket shop, and then came here and picked up a part and somehow got like drug into an office and hired on the spot. And that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And and the longevity of working at this place for as long as it is, my goodness, you make friends for life. It's insane because you spend so much time with everybody you work with. We're here so many hours of the day, so they become your second family. So it's and all of us are pretty much still here. So it's kind of crazy that we've made these lifelong friends and stuff like that we still work with. Believe it or not, we still kind of want to hang out with each other after work.
So what got you in the automotive industry?
You know what? I just needed a job, and I went in absolutely knowing nothing. Absolutely nothing. And had a good teacher as far as good technicians at the initial shop that I had, and they just showed me everything, and I just kind of second nature at that point, and then here I am. Took a while, but
there you go. Hey, let's go to the phones. And we're going to talk to Jason. Jason, good morning. You're on live with Under the Hood.
Hey, morning, guys. I wonder if you could explain something to me. So I have a 2015 Ford F-150, and I just got a recall in the mail saying that it has something to do with the emissions. I have it scheduled to come into you guys on Friday. I just wondered, what does that entail? Is it in the computer system that they have to do something, or?
I would guess so. I would guess it's got to be the reprogram.
Yeah, I would assume that it would be a reprogram. The biggest thing is, man, in this day and age, and the number of recalls, and so there's a lot of different recalls out there, but they're within each recall, it's just affects a very few limited number of vehicles. And so for us to sit and know, absolutely every recall that's out there is very tough. Now, there's some that are obviously more common than others, but if it's having to do with emissions, they about have to be changing something up on a program or a tune. And so what we'll do is after the show, I'll look up your Mustang specifically and see
F-150.
F-150
F-150.
What that recall specifically is, but what I'm thinking of right now is a reprogram.
Yeah, it would have to be it. Jason, I'll give you a call. I'll give you a shout, and I'll get your VIN, and I'll look up exactly what it was, because I can actually pull up the exact recall, and it'll actually state what it is supposed to be doing for you, and I can be more than happy to do that for you.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
You bet, man. Anytime.
So what's the most can you think back in all your trying to get something repaired, the most unique spot that you've been in as far as trying to describe what a vehicle is doing?
Oh, that's good.
Having a timing chain go out on you in the middle of a highway.
Whoa. Yeah, that's not fun, Jason.
Yeah, that was back in high school. That sucks.
Oh, yes, it does.
So just
and it's costly too, let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So just going down the road and it just quit on you, huh?
Yeah, it just quit for no reason. Couldn't figure it out, and I thought maybe it was the alternator or something, and nope. Come to find out it was a timing belt. I was like, great.
Oh, that's tough.
That went from not, well, potentially not super expensive as an alternator to timing.
Yeah, that
become an issue as well. So very good. Well, we'll look.
That is labor intensive.
Yeah, it is.
So did you end up having somebody repaired, or did you try it yourself, or?
We had it repaired.
Did you?
Luckily, I still lived at home. My folks helped me out, so I got lucky there.
Yeah.
Well,
I will give you a call, sir, after the end of the show, and I'll look up that recall for you. Okay.
Okay, like I said, I got it scheduled to come in Friday, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, man. Anytime.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Jason.
Man. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, 316-462-3673. I got a couple of people on the chat. In fact, if somebody could make a comment on the chat, I'm pretty sure that we've got the phones fixed. You previously were unable to hear the audio, so you wouldn't have been able to hear Jason on your side. So if somebody could throw up there, whether they give me a confirmation that they were able to hear Jason, that would be great. Like I said, I'm pretty confident that it is taken care of, and typically people will let you know if it's not. But so yeah, got a comment. So Phil, somebody's wanting to ask you where Phil is. So he is in. Yep. So you can hear. Thanks for that, Greg. I appreciate the comment there. Phil was racing, and then this morning he had a family affair in Kansas City that he was headed to. So, yeah, he's had to step out for some personal stuff. So hope everything's going good there, and he's having a good time. And then let's see. So Jeff says
Jeff Daniel, he had a Bronco service in a Ford in Arkansas, regular oil change, but they talked him into flushing the oil system, and then they did end up at a MOA, and thoughts on if that's necessary to flush the old oil out, and it was like an additional $70. So
if they put the MOA in it, I'm guessing what they did was our version of the GDI.
That's what I was
service
thinking too. Yeah,
is what I'm thinking. And yes, that is a very valued service for sure. Mileage interval, we would say, you know, around every 15,000 miles to do something like that. You know, there's so many advantages to that service, but basically, one of the BG reps kind of explained this to me is like it's a shampoo and conditioner for your hair.
Yeah.
Right? So like you don't just if just hopping in the shower and running water was changing your oil, then the MOA and the 44K was like a shampoo and conditioner in that process, and you wouldn't just hop in the shower and not use soap or shampoo or conditioner, right? So
the GDI service is ridiculous. It is such a valuable service. It's really sad that a lot of people don't make it part of a manufacturer's required maintenance. But the thing is that changing your oil for up to 60,000 miles, you know, it's going to be fine. But if you're trying to keep your vehicle for a long time, do a GDI service every 15,000 miles. It's so awesome.
Yeah,
so
definitely well worth it. So yeah, I think that was a good call for sure.
Absolutely.
So, hey, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here with us, and let's talk about anything automotive. So I was trying to get somebody to call in that maybe had that, you know, that my car makes this noise or something like that.
For sure.
So I'm not when I'm talking about this, like I'm not even making fun of anybody,
No.
because in so many situations that I've been in, like, how do you describe that?
Yeah.
And even in your position, so you're kind of the liaison between the customer and the technician.
Oh,
right?
I'm playing
and parts and stuff like that.
I'm playing a very fun game of telephone at that point. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
So you have a customer that comes in and they talk to you, and they, in their words, try to, you know, describe to the best of their ability some, and then the level of, you know, technical aptitude between customers can vary so much too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I mean, you could have some customers that have done research and like potentially know exactly what's wrong with the thing before it ever even gets in here, and then you have people that have absolutely no clue.
Absolutely. And the extremes of both ends of that spectrum can obviously be very beneficial and very hurtful too. You'll have somebody that says, well, okay, well, I have this noise, and then they'll research the heck out of it, and then they'll basically define it or diagnose it themselves, and it's not anything close to what it is. So but that is the whole thing is especially about being an experienced service advisor, is you have to know how to ask the probing questions. If you are just an order taker, you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing, especially when you're trying to figure out something that's going wrong. That's what it took. I mean, sometimes you have to get into the car with the customer and go on a quick test drive. It's like, oh, I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to know the right questions to ask. We have a technician here that grills me on that stuff all the time. His name's Cole, and he's one of our, you know, he's been here longer than anybody. But he'll come up to you. What was the weather like? Was there rain? Was there this? When did it happen? How long has the vehicle been running? What's the temperature outside? All of these things, but you don't even think about it. That actually could potentially have something to do with what's going on. So that's the difference between an order taker and a good service advisor. So those questions
would definitely agree. And then, you know, the level of complications sometimes is like, okay, this is what I'm going to put that up there.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
The level of complication of, okay, this is what the customer's saying. Now, how do I write that down?
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, I will say too, so first of all, I'm going to share this comment because I think it's excuse me, because I think it's extremely relevant. It
Yeah.
says, "You mean Google can be wrong?" So I've got a little bit of a story. The internet is a wonderful tool.
Beautiful, yeah.
And there are so many situations and scenarios where it can be a very time saving,
Mhm.
and lead you exactly where you need to go and,
Yeah.
and need to be. And then there's times where you could be in left field easy.
I'm so hoping you're telling the story that's coming up in my head.
Yeah, so I've the one I have is individual was trying to their daughter had I think it was a Focus or Fusion or something like that, and it was in a wreck. And when I say wreck, so just like the driver's door.
Oh,
So
okay.
just the driver's door was hit, and it wasn't. It was dented pretty good. This individual went and got a salvage door that was the same color, and so like all they're doing was taking this door off and putting it on that car. Well, they had to go through and change out all the inner components of the door, and I bet I got 10 phone calls through this process of
What?
yeah, they could not get the latch out of the door, the handle
Mhm.
portion of the
Oh, yeah.
latch out of the door. But anyways, I went. Finally I was on my way home. I was like, I'm just gonna stop by and we'll take a look at it and see what's going on, what the deal is. Well, I go over there and we're looking at it. Well, he's looking up YouTube videos on how to do this, and I mean, in his search and everything, he had his year, his model, and this others the reply back, claimed that was exactly what
Mhm.
he needed to be doing, and it was nowhere close to
No.
it. Nowhere close. And I've just run into multiple situations where things like that have happened. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you're definitely right. Google can be wrong sometimes, for sure.
And it can make things extremely expensive. There's a
Yeah.
situation that specifically pops up into mind that you and I were both involved with, and it is involving a hybrid battery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
where somebody was basically Googling their symptoms and ended up going to our dealership and buying a hybrid battery, which those of you guys who don't know, those are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And insisted on putting it in himself, puts it in himself, and that was not the problem. And the unfortunate thing is hybrid batteries, once you install them, you can't return them.
Well, it's an electrical.
It's an electrical component.
I mean,
So
it has a warranty on it,
Right,
everything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, but it's just not something you can buy and then
you can't try it out,
Yeah.
But yeah, please don't do that. I mean, certain things maybe, but it can also lead you in the wrong direction.
Hey, let's go back to the phones and let's talk to Jeremy. Jeremy, you're on live with Under the Hood.
Yes, I've got a 1977 Jeep CJ7 that I had a timing chain break and ruined the gears in it.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was replace the timing chain and gears, and now when it starts, you can't get it to shut off.
Can't get it to shut off.
Yeah, it won't shut off with the key.
So you take the key out and it just keeps on running.
Yep, when you turn the key backwards and pull the key out, it'll sit there and run until it finally chokes out, but it takes a while.
Well, so like it will diesel and then die, or like it will continually run for a long time?
It'll run probably a minute or two, then it just finally slows down and dies.
There's got to be something going on in the power to the distributor that's allowing that to continue to run. It's got to be getting power for the ignition side of that circuit somehow. But all you did was put timing gears in it.
Timing chain and gears, put it back together, started it up, got the timing set perfect, and then my brother was helping me and said, "Okay, shut it off." So I hollered at my son and said, "Hey, shut it off." He turned the key off, pulled the key out, and it was still sitting there running.
Yeah, there's got to be, I mean, on that side of it, when you're cycling the key, you're killing the ignition, and so there's got to be something. Either we don't have a ground hook back up like we need to, or the other thing I was wondering, does it have a tack in it?
Yeah.
So there's on that distributor portion of it, there's a tack wire and then a a power battery wire. I'm wondering if we have something backwards as far as how it's hooked back up. But it's got to be
Yeah.
it's got to be something electrical towards the ignition side of that vehicle.
This thing breaks itself just sitting in the. You stop driving for a while, and you go back to drive it, and it's broke.
Yeah, yeah, understand that completely. But there's got to be it's got to be something electrical on that thing. I mean, I suppose oddly coincidental, but I suppose that there could be something actually wrong with the ignition switch too, and it just coincidentally happened at the same time. But again, I would definitely be looking into that, the electrical side of that ignition.
I did put a new electrical switch in it. It's just like the Chevrolet's got that little button you push, and then you pull it out because the tumbler was screwed up. And I put just pushed the button up, pulled it out, put the new switch in, and it worked fine for 6-8 months.
That was
but when my son,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it was in that 77 Jeep, but it's got a Chevrolet steering column in it because the guy wanted to tilt steering in it.
Mm-hmm.
That you put that switch in it for this purpose, or you put it in?
No.
Okay.
He said months ago.
Well, and when you put it in, what problem were you having with it then?
It just, the key was so worn that you could.
Okay.
My son forgot his keys, and he just went in there and turned it, and he started to say, "Dad, I don't even have to have the key." And I was like, "Oh, we can't have that at school. Someone will be stealing the Jeep at school, just screwing with you."
Yeah. Well, so if Phil was here, he's got a story about moving some cars around in the parking lot. So I don't think maybe not even steal it. Just we're going to play a joke and relocate a couple of parking lots over or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, we'd be more than happy. I'll throw a diagnostic onto your package and we could take a look at it and see what's going on with it. But I'm going to say that there's something going on with the electrical side of the ignition on that thing. So I don't know if we got, like I said, a ground, maybe not in the right spot, or excuse me, that tack signal wire and power wire switched around or something. But be more than happy to throw a diagnostic on there for you. Okay.
Yeah, that thing, it's a good Jeep. It's a 77. It's got a original 304 in it, and other than just that, it just breaks itself when you quit driving it. It gets mad, and then it just breaks itself, just sitting in the garage.
There are a lot of vehicles that don't like idle time. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of cases where that's almost as hard as putting a ton of miles on a vehicle for sure. So.
Oh yeah.
And 77,
almost like it's got a temperature. It throws a temper tantrum because it's not getting driven.
Because it's not getting driven
Right.
anywhere. Well, very
it's like, hey, I'm just gonna cost you another couple $100 because you done quit driving me.
better take me around the block every once in a while. Well, very good. Well, thank you for the call, and we'll get that package out to you. And like I said, we'll be more than happy to I'll throw a diagnostic on there, and let us know if we can help you. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Take care.
Hey, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here with us and talk about anything automotive. So, going down the lines of trying to describe noises, I guess. And then, Google can definitely be wrong. Looks like Delbert finally joined us this morning. Good morning, Delbert. So the going back to the Google thing, and I really truly believe that, when a customer or a consumer comes in, that they're just trying to better assist us with more information, right?
Yeah.
It's just trying to become knowledgeable about something that maybe you don't know much about.
Right.
And so, like I said, there's times where it's great and there's times where it's not. And it's so important for us to make sure that we understand what direction we're headed, right? Once a vehicle's rode up. And so if we got to hop in a car and go do it, then we got to hop in the car and go do it, and take the time and make sure that we're not busy with day-to-days to just take the time, take a minute. Hey, let's go figure this out. A little bit of time now will save me a lot of time later.
Especially if you can steelhead that. You know what I mean? If you can get all the information at the very beginning, you eliminate more trips for the customer to come in and get involved. I mean, all of that stuff is so ridiculously important, and so yeah, it's extremely helpful. And so that's why I did that. That's why I wanted to jump in and immediately figured it out. So
There you go. Looks like so Delbert's headed to the farmer's market. Very good. Gonna pick up some fresh
Ooh, and
stuff.
OKC too. That would be
Yeah.
fun. My wife would love that.
Is she a farmer's market person?
She
Is
loves a farmer's market.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't complain, man, because whenever she goes, she
was gonna
comes home
say,
with awesome stuff.
I would
So-
like it. I would like it for her to go to
Yeah,
the farmer's
no
market.
kidding,
I
right?
didn't say that I wanted to go. I said I would like it for her to go.
Right. Yeah, I don't
So-
want to go. But anyway.
Very good.
Yeah.
So next on your list is tires.
Tires.
What do you
Yeah.
got about tires?
Well, here's the thing. We're getting I mean, we've obviously started summer's in full swing at this point. It's starting to get hot outside. And but what happens with spring is we get a lot of storms and we get a lot of rain. And it's really easily I guess like forgettable about tires sometimes whenever it's summer, because a lot of people get down to low tread when it's winter and everybody freaks out because of the snow and ice
yeah.
and don't really think about water. And that's kind of a big deal around the Kansas parts.
So I, water definitely and hydroplaning is a huge hazard for sure. But I would even take that one step further in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just ran into this scenario here the other day. So had a customer call and they had a blowout. They were up at I don't know. I think it was let's say Central and Ridge or something like that.
Sure.
They were in essentially, or 13th and Ridge, a church parking lot. So they were at least able to get off the road and
Sure.
and into a parking lot, so they weren't in the middle of the street. But then no spare, and it wasn't that the vehicle just didn't have one.
Uh-huh.
And it's becoming more and more common that we see that there is no spare tire. So essentially, I mean, they really kind of felt like they were just kind of stranded. So we went up there and took tools to change it out, and pulled the tire off the car, brought it back up here, and we're changing it out. And I'm looking at the tire, and I mean, there is it's
Cords.
not quite cords, but there's next to no tread. But essentially, that's what happened. They didn't have a blowout. They just wore the tire
down.
out.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, we're looking at putting it back together and getting it back on. And he's like, well, essentially they thought they were done. But in my mind, I'm like, okay,
What do
hold
the
on.
other tires
I
look
was
like?
We just went through this, and you're ready to be back on the road and going. But there needs to be more to this repair.
Yeah.
Because there's either an alignment issue,
My next thing.
or if the other tires look like this tire, you're not going to go very much further, and you're going to be in the exact same situation that you are right now,
Or in a worse situation
or
on
in
the
a worse
highway.
situation, or further away from somebody, or after hours, or I can think of that late night in the middle of nowhere scenario. And so being able to look at your tires on a routine basis there's a lot of value in that.
Oh yeah.
But when I think of summer, for me, it's the temperature.
Mhm.
So the temperature of the tire rolling down the road, but then also the temperature of the asphalt. There's a lot that plays into how a tire wears, that is temperature related. In fact, there's even a temperature rating on
the
tires.
Yeah.
That's something years ago that was, I think, a lot more, a lot more looked at or watched or whatever. Now, pretty well, everybody has a pretty high temperature rating on tires.
Yeah.
You don't see too much of that, but
Those are the actually only two things with the tires that are actually consistent through the brands, is the traction rating and the temperature rating. Those are actually the only two things that are
brand specific.
Yeah, the tread wear is actually something that is only the brand.
Yeah.
So if you see a Michelin tire that has 1200 as their tread wear rating and a Goodyear has 800, it legitimately means nothing.
Yeah,
because
it's only prevalent to that particular
Correct.
manufacturer tire, and you can use it to compare one Michelin to another
Michelin,
or one
yes.
Goodyear to another Goodyear, but
Right.
you're not going to
Right.
go all the way across the whole.
But- And I guess that's a good point, especially with the temperature of the asphalt and stuff like that. The only thing, like especially with me and like my wife, that's the thing that I always check is her tires. But here's the other thing that I don't really think about is we still have cars that are lower to the ground, like, and you can't see the tires.
Well, I mean, years
you
ago,
can't really do it.
Yeah, years ago, 14, 15, 16-inch tires, and the sidewall of the tire was like
That
huge.
tall,
Yeah, it was huge, and and right now, I mean, 19s, 20s, 21s, 22s, and then they're almost not quite as thin as a rubber band, but very thin, and the sidewalls are much harder than what they used to be and stuff like that. And so a low tire,
Yeah, you don't even know.
And that's why the tire pressure monitor systems are so important as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say something, you had me, and then you said something about the tire pressure system, and I lost it. I can't remember what it was. So we're just gonna move on. Anyway,
just roll on. But
yeah,
the heat of the summer it does play havoc on tires, for sure. And
I got it. It came back.
did you?
Yeah. Because it's actually something that's very, very important that I don't think a lot of people think about. So whenever you're looking for tires and you're looking at the size, especially anymore these days, they have on these tires and on these vehicles, they have something called speed ratings, which is extremely important for your vehicle. And those tires have to meet a certain speed rating. If you put something less than what is supposed to be on there, it could really be a safety situation. So that's always something that's very important as well.
Well,
Totally forgot about that.
so you have load and speed rating.
Load and
both,
speed,
right?
yep.
Okay. So how many? I mean, I've been in a ton of conversations with a customer that maybe you're comparing one tire provider to another tire provider, and so like quoting tires,
Oh,
or
sure.
giving a price of tires, and they say, well, I can get that tire over here for this much.
Mhm.
And then it's like, okay, well, what is the load and speed rating of that tire?
Mhm.
Are we comparing apples to apples? And a lot of times you get the
Yeah.
and so then you get in the subject of, okay, well, what do you mean load and speed rating? Well, it needs to the load rating, it needs to be able to carry this much, and then the speed rating, they're rated in miles an hour.
Mhm.
So they're rated in miles per hour for a duration of time,
Mhm.
right? As
Yeah.
how the manufacturer comes up with that speed rating, and the customer's first reaction is, well, I'm not going to drive my car 128 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
But that's not
That's not what it's about.
it's the structural integrity of the tire, and like how stiff the sidewall is, and the roll of the tire when you're turning around corners and stuff like that. And so when you alter that or change that, the handling dynamics and the steering ability of that vehicle
Right.
is altered.
So whenever we were younger, we had boats that were cars. You remember those?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And you remember whenever you were going 60 and you turned that vehicle one way or another, it had a roll to it because of how heavy that vehicle was. Anymore, we don't have said roll. And a lot of that has to do with the suspension system and stuff like that. It's a lot tighter. But that also, that means that the tires had to catch up. And so they have stiffer sidewalls and things like that. So whatever Josh is talking about, if you can imagine going 70 miles an hour in that boat and yanking the steering wheel to the left, you will blow a tire off of a wheel. Like, no kidding. And that is, whenever they say speed rating, I like more or less like the performance rating, because that's more or less what it is. It's so that that tire will do what you want it to do, not at 100 mile an hour. It's what at any mile.
Now, granted, there is a speed factor to that
Yes.
as well, especially when you get into ZR or Z-rated tires and things like that. But it's essentially, like you said, the performance of that tire.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Anyways, that's tires. That's just tires.
Tires in a nutshell.
That's tires in a nutshell. But
Very
the
good.
other thing I really wanted to talk about, because it's getting so hot, especially, and I think this happens everywhere, but whenever it starts getting warm outside, everybody starts to find out that their air conditioning is blowing hot air. It happens every year.
Yeah.
every single year. And it's like, well, all of a sudden now my air conditioning doesn't work. It's like, probably not. It probably wasn't working throughout the winter. It leaked out all of the refrigerant, and now you've just noticed it. The best thing that you could possibly do is service the AC system. I mean, at least before every season, if you can. Whenever we do an AC service, we put dye in the system to where if it does have a leak, there's actually parts of the AC machines that we have that will detect leaks if it has one when we're doing that service. But don't catch yourself on a 120-degree day and you're sitting there and just melting in your car. That's the worst feeling ever. It's miserable, and I feel for you. And then you call us and we need to get it in, and we're scheduling a little ways out, and so that's what it is. But please service your AC system when it's hot outside. It's no fun when you're in a car and you're melting in there. So yeah, that's very important. But anyway, do you have anything to add on that? Or you're looking with a smile and reading?
Well, I was just reading some of the comments up here in regards to. So, Greg put up here says, yeah, used to have 75 and 80
yes.
sidewall aspects. Now it's 35 to 50. Yeah. And you're right. It's just so much different than what they were.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, and then problem is can't see if the tire pressure is low, and that's right on specific. Definitely hit the nail on the head there as well.
Yeah.
The thing with that I will say about tires though is, like, I believe the manufacturing quality of them has gotten so much better as well. They're able to get a smoother ride on a smaller sidewall. The overall performance or longevity. I mean, I can remember years ago, a tire 20,000 miles easy, and now for the most part, we can go 50, 60, 70, 80,000 miles on a set of tires pretty easy.
Except for if it's a Mach-E.
Well, yeah. So, and why do you think that is?
Because it's heavy.
Okay, so heavy.
It's so heavy.
How heavy it is one thing, but then the other side of that is, like, they want that vehicle has no motor, like it's not making any noise. So they have a really soft compound on that. We're getting fuzzy here.
Hey, there we are.
Has a super soft compound, right, on that tire, so that it's quiet.
Right.
And then what does that do? Well, it's going to wear faster.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's one of those things that it's a give and take in some aspects or some points. There we go.
Sorry. I'm trying to make it better, but I'm short, so we're going to be blurry, I guess. Is it because of my black shirt?
No, no. It's all you're moving around.
I'm fidgety.
We've got a new camera coming for this deal, so
okay.
We'll add that to the list of things that we need to improve on around here for the show as well. But that softer compound is going to make that tire wear a lot faster. So, and they even went through now. They have like foam inserts in the tire itself that is glued to pick up or to take away more road noise and make it quieter for a consumer inside. So,
and they already don't make any noise anyways.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't even hear that thing coming.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So got a couple more comments on here. So no better AC than 2 at 80.
2 windows down, 80 mile an hour. Absolutely. I've done that before. Let's see.
It's the problem is when you can't do the 80 and you're city light to city light. Yeah, that's when the problem comes. A lot of times if there's air moving, I'm not even gonna say that because it's miserable.
It is. It's still miserable. We're pampered.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, very, very much so. I wouldn't say that. And that's so talking about this tour that I took the community college on the other day, and we went through all the different buildings, the warehouse, the quick lane, the details or the detail shop, and every one of them is air conditioning. And like it's not like that at every shop.
No.
And I was trying to explain that to a lot of the students. Of course, they had made a couple of other field trips and it was not like that. And so that was something that one of the kids had picked up on. And again, just being in this industry every day, and you just don't think about it, you know.
And the coolest part is I've seen it from the beginning. Like
Yeah.
I've been here before the Quick Lane. I've been here before the body shop or not the body shop, the warehouse and all of that stuff. And yeah, it's impressive, man. It's a pretty cool thing to come to work every day.
Watch it
and-
grow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and watch it legitimately grow from what we came from and what it is now. And yeah, we're kind of badasses here. Just saying.
So yeah, hey, you know, I think definitely appreciate you filling in today
Sure,
and
you
coming
bet.
in and
Anytime.
talking with us and all that stuff. But I think we're going to go through and probably thank all the sponsors.
Sure.
You know, we don't give them enough love. We get again caught up in the day to day and everything, and so Big Corner Creative,
Yeah.
you know, all the marketing and advertising needs that you have down there, you get the opportunity quite a bit to deal with them for window tint and then any type of graphics or
Wraps,
designs or wraps and stuff like that. And those guys are always very gracious to help out and make things happen. For sure, had a vehicle we sent down. Just yesterday? Well, I wasn't with you. I'm sorry.
Well, it wasn't me.
So, yeah, I had one. I just sent down there yesterday, and it was I was in a bind and a little behind, and I said, "Hey, can you get me taken care of?" And we got some windows tinted and a couple of decals on, and so they knocked it out of the park. So yeah, they do all sorts of stuff down there from you know, like I said, window tinting, race car wraps, social and traditional advertisement for businesses. As they say, just Google them. Then BG Products, you know, can't give those guys enough love at all. They have a full line of automotive products to help your vehicle go many miles. We have a wonderful relationship with those guys, and they stand behind what they sell.
It ain't
for sure.
snake oil, kids.
Yeah.
It's not.
I think you've had the opportunity to work with their you know, their guarantee warranty that goes behind their product.
That's an
and
awesome company.
It's yeah, they definitely will stand behind what they sell. And you know, I love the fact the amount of effort they put into their research and development to make sure that what they're providing a consumer has value.
And then they stand behind it.
Mhm.
If you service your vehicle to their guidelines, you have a warranty that you don't even know about. If something happens, they will help. And it's a great company.
Yeah, 100%. So BG Products, thank you to all those guys. And then Go to Rent. So summer is upon us. I cannot believe this, but you know, we are in the midst of it for sure. But if you're headed on vacation and you need maybe something that's a little more fuel efficient, or you want a larger vehicle, Stan's got a great fleet of vehicles over there for all your rental needs. So give Stan a call right inside Go to Rent. So everybody, hey, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for the phone calls.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the comments over here on the chat line and everything like that. And we will talk to you next Saturday.